Hello again, welcome back to what I guess is the very first episode, and I thought given this is episode number 1, I would go with something simple and light and breezy. So today on Stupidity, I'm going to be dealing with the problem with Israel.
What?
I know what you're thinking. Religiously fundamental, discriminatory, and in no way representative of a modern civilized society. Which I guess is the entire reason why Rugby Australia dumped him. You see what I did there. I am, of course, talking about Israel Folau. And if you're not familiar with what this story is, I'll give you the highlights. Who is Israel? Well, he's a phenomenally talented 30-year-old football player. And this whole story started when he posted this post to Instagram. And some people thought this was homophobic. And I have to say, personally, as a fornicating atheist, I was deeply and genuinely hurt. Now, he says that this has come from the teachings of the Bible, and as a Christian, he should be able to express the tenets of his faith. And I do find it a little hypocritical, considering that he says, this has come from the Bible, this is my faith, and at the same time also says that you shall not mark your body with a tattoo. Israel, you kind of fucked up there, mate. And if you're going to use your faith as a means of pointing the finger on one hand and discriminating and then not applying the same text to your own life, you're probably a bit of a prick. So Rugby Australia says, come on mate, that's a bit dumb, take it down. To which he said no. So they reminded him by making what is considered to be a homophobic statement in a public forum that he was in breach of his contract. He still refused to take it down, so they terminated his contract. So far, the story's pretty sweet and pretty simple. And then came the howls from the conservative media like Sky News saying that free speech was under attack. This is stupidity. How can his free speech be under attack when he's talking about it? He's talking about it on the telly, in the press, in social media, on the internet. His capacity for free speech has not been taken away. Rugby Australia has basically said, Izzy mate, you can say whatever you like, but we don't have to pay you for it. Freedom of speech generally is considered to be under fire when it's coming from governments and regimes. Even in a country like Australia, public servants cannot talk about government politics, government policy, any kind of legislation on social media. They're not allowed to do it. If they are caught out doing it, they can be disciplined and even sacked. That is literally the government telling you what they can and cannot say. And not too many people know this, probably because they're not allowed to talk about it. You've breached your contract and been let go. The feds haven't kicked your door in and hauled you off. I am certainly not a fan of censorship, not in any way, but I don't really feel that that's what this is. It hasn't been censored. It's still online. If Coca-Cola gave me some kind of sponsorship deal and I had to represent Coca-Cola and then I was caught out or at a gig somewhere drinking Pepsi, you'd bet your ass I would get dumped. And I could turn around and say, well, I'm a Pepsitarian, it's part of my faith. You can't dump me. I know what you're thinking. But Stu, Pepsitarianism is a made-up religion. Yes, because it's really hard to refer to a religion that hasn't been made up. Oh, and then come the cries, religious freedom is under attack. Since when? They make it sound like they're hiding under the floorboards because the barbarian hordes are coming over the hill. You're welcome to practice any religion you want. People do it all the time. They go to church all the time, or temple, or prayer sessions, or Bible studies, or great big happy clappy conventions for days at a time. You can wear a pasta colander on your head and say that you worship the flying spaghetti monster. And people do. It's awesome. There are religious schools, religious institutions, and billions of tax-free religious dollars out there. So this man, who has earned millions of dollars over his career, and good luck to him, has now gone and asked the public to fund his legal expenses and started receiving donations through GoFundMe. GoFundMe then says, well, we're not real comfortable with being the instrument by which you accumulate the funds you need to fight so you can continue to say discriminatory and possibly homophobic things online. So in steps the ACL and says, well, if they won't help you get funded, we will. Because I think it was Jesus who said, love thy neighbor as you love yourself, in which case you can't, I will make sure that you are given all of the funds you need to hire a crack legal team. It does make you wonder what the C in ACL really stands for. Well, that's a story that's been dominating both the mainstream and social media recently. I don't even watch sport, and this is getting under my skin. Remember, Israel, the Bible does say that fornicators and gays won't get into the kingdom of heaven, but it also teaches that neither will a rich man. This has been Stupidity, and I'll be back on YouTube when something else irritates me.